Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ray, and we are here to jump into episode 8, the finale of Chaser Game W. Whew, we have really moved along through this series. I have been taking some breaks here and there, so I haven't binged this one, unlike some of my other shows that I've watched for this channel. But I have quite enjoyed the series. Very short run. 8 episodes, 25 to 30 minutes maximum per episode. Like, yeah, it's been quite nice. We've moved along at quite the clip. Everything is coming to a crescendo, both with the game as well as with Fuyu and Itsuki's personal life. Everything is blowing up. Both of their relationships with other people have come to screeching halt as truths have been revealed about both of those relationships. And now we're going into the finale. It's time to actually sit down and make a decision about what your lives are going to be going forward. So, I'm quite excited to see the final episode and see what we have in store. Are we going to end in like a cliffhanger? I don't think it's going to be a sad ending or anything. But are we going to leave on a cliffhanger with the option for season 2 or something like that, or a future storyline? Or is it going to be really definitive and this is the end? You know, I'm very excited to see. All right, let's get into the episode.
君がこれまで僕に冷たかったのはそれが原因だったんだね。
Yes. She did not want to marry you, sir. Sorry.
あなたを傷つけて本当にごめんなさい。
でも君は僕を裏切った。
I mean, he's not wrong.
月のことも裏切った。
He's not wrong.
それが事実。
This is a mess. So maybe he didn't know that she was a lesbian. He just thought that she was in love with somebody else, which she is. But he didn't think until he started seeing her with Itsuki that it was another woman, maybe.
君はこれからどうしたい？僕と。
あなたと月を裏切って。
So maybe like I don't deserve either of you or something.
こんなこと言える立場じゃないけど。
You don't want your life to change? Ma'am?
やり直すチャンスをください。
And do what, girl? That's completely unfair. Like he said, to both him and Itsuki and Suki. Like all three of them, like really unfair, actually, to ask them to do that. Oh, girl. And do what? Start over and do what? He's supposed to be married to you even though you're in love with somebody else?
だからもう春本さんと会わないでほしい。
Oof.
できる。
Yeah. Can you do that? I don't think you can, girl. Oh, babe. Babe. There's no way in the world you can keep that promise. Here we go.
本当に困った子ね。
Like, she wanna
こんなこ
date
とが
her?
会社にバレたら、あなたはおしまいよ。
Again, what is the reason? She just power tripping? Like, what's going on? Not this motherfucker.
もっと報酬をよこせって言いに来たの？
違います。いただいた報酬を返しに来ました。
And do what?
なので、
The pictures
写真を
are
返していただきます。
already out there. Like, it's done. She didn't even like say, hey, give me time to think about it. Like, nope. She's a mess. She's a mess. But she's also dealing with like a lot of insecurity and a lot of fear, so I get it.
見た目が悪いからよーく言って聞かせてあげて。何？
Yeah, what's going on?
部長が朝日プロダクションから引き抜いたクリエイターたち全員
Ooh, all right. So what does she do? How does she pull this?
うちの優秀なクリエイターたちを引き抜いて
After the betrayal,
ヴィンセント
can
は
you trust them?
引き抜いた9割を1年で解雇してポイ捨てしてるやん
I got the statistics.
そんな殺傷なことしたら飽きまへん
So they were about to, yeah, like a bunch of them are about to be out of a job
うちの優秀なクリエイ
after
ター
this.
たちは飽きません
Yeah, they have a guaranteed job here versus, you know, maybe probably gonna get
失敗し
fired.
たことで
Oof.
天女世界の
春本樹と再会するためそうでしょ
I'm not exposing them at their workplace. I mean, she's
女
a
同
piece of
士で
shit,
それを
so
不
we
倫だなん
know.
てバレたらどうなると思うジエンドだよ
だから
She's like, then I'll just quit.
バラしたいならそうしてください。私は春本樹を愛してます。そのことについては後悔していません。
Bloop, 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 bloop.
皆さんに迷惑をかけたことは謝ります。
Yeah, because y'all were wilding in the beginning of this series. Remember when she came in and she was like hazing this girl? And everybody in the office was like, what the fuck is going on? Like a totally toxic work environment, by the way.
した全然
Yeah, ain't none of
私は
them.
関わる人すべてが同意の上ならどうぞご自由にのスタンスですから。
ヴィンセント
I mean-
遅れてませんか
I mean, the biggest oof is that she was cheating on her husband. But we'll see how that goes.
嘘
All right, so what are we going to do about, you
みんな
know,
に知られち
your
ゃった
husband?
ね。うん。
I kind of wish we'd seen the lead up to her decision. But it's okay. Maybe it was spur of the moment, like right there in that moment. She was like, you know what? Fuck it. Totally valid. So she is still gonna break up with her.
大丈夫。絶対月には迷惑かけたりしないから。なんでそんなこと言うの？
Yeah.
だって私のせいでこんなことになったから。
It's definitely not. It's
私が日本に来たからこうなってしまう。
no. This happened because she did all that shit in college behind your back with your mom. No, but we really need to just sit down and talk with this husband and be like, sir, do you really want to be in a loveless marriage? Do you truly want this? Because I don't think you do. I think you're just being stubborn. But she was also kind of wilding for saying that to him. Because to be honest, if she had said, you know what, I think maybe we should separate and I should get a divorce, I wonder if he would have just been chill about that. But the fact that she was like, I wanna go back and stay with you and do all of this. I don't wanna, you know, break up this family, etc. And then he was like, well, okay, I would like that too, but I mean, you can't see somebody else while we're married. And that's totally valid. Like, that's a valid desire, but at the same time, it's not valid because he knows that she's a lesbian. She's not gonna suddenly stop being a lesbian because she stopped seeing Itsuki, you know? Like, she's not gonna suddenly become straight. Like, so you also should have put your foot down and said, no, I'm not going to be in a loveless marriage with somebody who can never fall in love with me. Like, you should have just been honest about that, sir. But he's probably one of those, you know, people who thinks she'll change her mind or something later. It's a phase or something. I don't know. Still holding on to it. This shaky game. I know it's like supposed to be mirroring the, you know, hectic emotional state they're in, but I don't know if it's working. Oof. Come on, somebody run and grab somebody. There we go. It's like, we all know that somebody's gonna be running.
その後、天女世界のゲーム化プロジェクトは美咲さんをリーダーに本格的に開発が始まった。
So So why did she quit her
子
job?
育ても一段落した美咲さんと彩香さんは
Is she moving to
仕事
China
終わ
with
りの
them?
一
Like
杯
what's
を
happening?
毎晩楽しんでいるという
Yeah.
世間から猛バッシングを受けることになった
Thank you.
青山渡
Thank
も
you.
石井照吉のセクハラ告発記事のライターとして活躍している
Yeah, look his ass up.
ヴィンセントの正社員になった小松梨沙はをやっている
Yeah. She got cut. She
あの
was
時
one of them
ザラキの
90%
不
that
審
got
着だっ
cut.
た彼は SNS で自作の歌を発表
Not him becoming a K-pop
彼
star.
女も私が会社を辞めて間もなくない
No one knows. Except for us two. No, but really, did she follow them to China? Oh, yeah. Okay, she came back to their spot. Oh, she's working here? Is she wearing the earrings? I guess we're not gonna see it. This feels like it's about to end. Oh. Woo. Wow. All right. What a finale. Okay. Okay. Like I said, I didn't anticipate this having a sad ending or anything, but we did get kind of, it was a little bit open-ended. Like, I mean, I guess she showed up at the end in the cafe. So I guess the implication is that she, you know, went back to China and they, you know, settled the marriage. She settled the marriage and left. But we don't have any information like, you know, is she still in contact with her daughter? Like, what happened with the daughter? Like, she disappeared from the narrative. We got no closure on that. So I guess the assumption is that they ended up breaking up and, you know, divorcing, and hopefully she still had the ability to see, you know, her daughter. But I guess we'll see. Well, no, we won't see, because this did not feel like it ended in such a way that we're gonna get a season 2 or anything. This is kind of done. Yeah, no. So the boss is pissed because she apparently had a crush on Fuyu. Which, you know, we kind of figured probably it was something like that. And it's a mix of things, right? Like, because it's not just a crush. She was also power tripping, you know? Like, she was also harassing this woman. Like, fully power harassing this woman. Like, the power harassment boss in the title of this is 100% Fuyu's boss. You know, like, my goodness, except they're not ex-girlfriends. So, you know, there's that. No, she was just a creep. Yeah, just oof. Wataru, you know, tried to turn it around a little late for my, you know, in my opinion, but whatever. Like, I guess I'm glad that he wasn't a complete horrifying asshole. Like, but he's close. Nah, he said, I have not forgiven him. I have not forgiven him. You know, but if we're going in the, you know, the hierarchy of antagonists, you have Fuyu's boss here at the very top, then probably Wataru, and then sort of Fuyu's husband. I don't know. I don't consider Fuyu's husband to be like a full-on antagonist or villain or anything like that. He was actually just struggling. He was just struggling because he was in a loveless marriage. And he didn't know how to handle that, didn't know how to deal with it. And he kept making, you know, bad decisions because he was in pain, and he was, you know, he wasn't getting any kind of genuine, like, counseling or anything in order to help him through it. So I don't necessarily, he's an antagonist, but I don't necessarily consider him like a full-on villain. Sexual harassment dude, though, absolutely in there. Like, god damn. Like, every single moment with that man was gross. So I am glad that at least we, at the very end of the series, at the very least, we exposed him and had him get arrested. Thank you. Because every single time we kept cutting back to him, I was like, why is he so ugh? And why are we not doing anything about it in the narrative? So, you know, I'm glad for that at least. I'm not going to get into his design and why they decided to make the creepy sexual predator the darker skinned, curly haired guy. We not ready to have that conversation about Japan yet, but I did notice it. Anyway, I guess the only reason I'm not like as mad is because they made the boss also like a creep. But then again, like I don't know if that says anything because she's also supposed to be Chinese. Anyway, we're not gonna get into that conversation, but I did notice that you had basically two sexual predators in there, and we had one guy who was darker skinned with curly hair, very much in brown face. And we had a Chinese boss, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but setting that aside, we're gonna set that aside for now. Series overall, I feel like we didn't. I mean, it was a good series. I do feel like it would have been better, and we could have fleshed out some of these storylines and actually like really explored them if we had a longer series. Of course, it was 8 episodes, 30 minutes each, etc. So we had so I did always kind of feel like we had like 3 storylines going on at the same time. We had the game stuff, we had the romance between Fuyu and Itsuki, and then we also had Fuyu's home life. And I feel like all 3 of those was a lot to handle in the series. I don't know if this is based off of, I don't think this is based off of a manga or anything. But I kind of wish we had not had Fuyu be married with a child. Or at the very least, maybe she got married years ago and was divorced already before the series started. Because I feel like it would have given us more time to really flesh out their romance, and flesh out the, what are we going to do about this video game stuff? And we could have had, I mean, they don't have the budget for that. Never mind. They would not have the budget to have like, an interspersed story of see, if I had my druthers, then I would have had this kind of, romance between these two in the real world, and then like a virtual romance with the characters that we saw play out as well, but it's being played by these two, still. So they're playing both their, real life roles and their fictional counterparts within the narrative. That would have been fun. But they didn't have the budget for that. So I don't even know why I'm trying to float that idea, but that would have been fun and interesting. Anyway, I do though still kind of wish, it's weird because I didn't dislike the stuff with her and her husband and her daughter. I like that whole storyline, but with all 3 of those happening at the same time, I think we didn't have enough real estate for. I think all of those storylines kind of got a little bit of the short end of the stick. And if we had only had 2 storylines to cover, then it would have been it would have allowed for more breathing room for the stories to progress. That's just my opinion. That's just how I feel about it. And I feel like, the easiest one to cut would have been the she's having an affair part of the story. Yeah, because we could have like this is what I mean. We could cut her being married and even her having a child, and most of this story would stay the same. You see what I mean? We could have had they got pressured to she got pressured to break up with Fuyu by Fuyu's mom, and because Fuyu's mom wanted to make her get married to a man, but ultimately that never happened, and instead she just ended up alone and bitter and cold because she thought that her one true love cheated on her, right? Like, and so her messy home life could have just been her not taking care of herself, her not getting the rest and the time that she needed. So the time where she stayed over could have just been her, you know, like staying over to take care of her, you know. Like we could have had and then we could have also just had the they got exposed near the end by the evil boss. She could have just exposed them for being lesbians, you know, and that still would have had the same narrative impact of, oh no, what do we do? Am I going to lose my job for this, etc., etc. That all still would have, you know, had impact, you know. So I don't think we needed her being married, to be honest. Or we could have had more time. We could have had less of the Wataru storyline. And then given more screen time to the marriage and the dissolution of it. Like this final episode, even though I mostly understand it, I do think that it was weird that we just cut. We're gonna break up, and then we just got a yada yada, like, you know, epilogue of her explaining what happened rather than us just seeing the events of, hey, they tried to make this marriage work even though they both were aware she's never going to fall in love with him and it didn't work, you know? So like have them actually have that conversation, have them actually have that argument, actually show us their divorce proceedings, not like the courtroom stuff, but I mean like actually show them finally making the decision that we can't make this work, you know? How do they deal with, you know, how Tsuki feels about it, you know, etc. So like I feel like if we cut one of these storylines, we could have cut a whole bunch of the sexual predator animator. What was he? He was like a animator or cartoonist, whatever. We could have cut most, if not all of that, and instead had more time spent on, hey, these two are in love. Let's watch them, you know, go on dates or whatever, or deal with being exposed, or deal with her mom. We still don't have like her dealing with her mom being part of the reason that all that shit went down 10 years ago, you know? Like we could have spent more time on that. Like I feel like a number of the storylines could have been cut or reduced in order to give us some more time for that. So anyway, I'm belaboring this. That's all I want to say about the whole series. You know, other than that, it was fairly enjoyable. Chemistry was good. It was, you know, it was good. It was good. You know, their emotions were really present. I really enjoyed the way that they portrayed like this kind of like tentative, agonized, you know, relationship that they had, where, you know, they have this like strong, bitter beginning to the series, and as we learn more about what happened, they learn more about each other and what happened, you know, previously, they start to thaw. So I did like that journey. So all right, we'll go ahead and leave it there. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Go on over to Patreon if you're interested. Oh no, I'm not putting this on YouTube. I always say that because it's like my usual like ending, but yeah, I'm really not putting this on YouTube. So it is what it is. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. I don't know what my next show is gonna be. Probably I have a couple of GLBLs that I want to watch. So maybe something like that. I've been putting off what was it called with Jimmy? God. Last Twilight, something like that. I've been putting that off for a while. There's a bunch of shows actually that I want to watch. But I'm trying to think of what other. I mean, there's a bunch of Japanese shows I want to watch too. So I've been putting off Osan's Love Returns. That is what I'm gonna watch next. You know what? I know exactly what I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch Osan's Love Returns because I've been putting that off season 2 of Osan's Love. Well, I guess season 3, but it's the season 2 of the first season. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. So that is what I will be watching next. So look forward to that. All right. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Baby, it's whatever. All this ever, but you long gone, it don't matter.